Hare Krishna. Well, that's a big garland. Yeah. And I bet you it has no fragrance. Thank you. Chanaka Pandit compares a flower without fragrance to a handsome man with no good qualities. And Chanaka Pandit also points out in a famous verse how everything has some fault in this world. Anyone know the fault of gold? It doesn't have a fragrance, according to Chanaka Pandit. All righty. I guess we've got everything as well organized as it's going to get. Prabhupada was giving class in Detroit. I forget the year. And they were setting up the book and the stand and the mic and, But, what they call like a hot mic moment. Prabhupada was looking out at the audience. And it's a long story, but the short version is no one had slept in a couple days in defense of the devotees, because Prabhupada had changed his time for coming a few days to get the Detroit building, the Devasadan Mandir. He came to settle that up. So he came a few days early, and everything we thought we had 10 days to do, all of a sudden we had 4 days to do. So nobody had really rested well. So when Prabhupada sat down, they were getting everything ready, and the devotees sat down, practically everyone fell asleep. Sannyasis, Vishnujan Maharaj and Tamal Krishna Maharaj were there with their bus parties and so many. So Prabhupada looked out at the audience, and the mic was on. So he said, this movement is going on by Krishna's grace alone, because he saw everyone asleep. And it's a fact. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Gopijana Balaba Girivanadari Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Shamunitira Ravanatari Jamunati Ravanatari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Gopechana Balaba Girivanadari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunati Ravanatari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Boom! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Boom! Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunda Bihari. Premanandi. Jai Vishnu Bhad Paramahansa Pidi Bhajakachar. Austed Shishim and His Divine Grace. Abide Sharan Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki. Ananta Kota Vaishnavindi ki, Nam Charshila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakti Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Vrindavan Dham ki, Mathura Dham ki, Dwarka Dham ki, Navadvip Dham ki, Jagannath-puri Dham ki, Chamuna Mai ki, Ganga Mai ki, Tulsi Maharani ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Samveda Bhakti Vrinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Siddhara Giridhari ki, Shri Krishna Sankirtana Jaga ki, Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hang on. There we go. Narayana namaskritya naram chaivam narottama devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayamurdirayat nastaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavate utame shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. The Bhagavatam is as brilliant as the sun. It is arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied with knowledge, religion, etc. Persons who have lost their vision through the dense darkness of the age of Kali shall get light out of this Purana. Before beginning our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer respects to the personality of God Narayan, the Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, the goddess of living Mother Saraswati, the author Srila Vyasadeva, and my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada. So we left off yesterday on verse 11. We are in the 8th canto, we're in chapter 16, and Aditi, the demons, Asuras, have chased the Devas out of the heavenly planets. They've taken over. Bali Maharaj and the Asuras are now in the predominant position. And Kasyapa's come out of meditative trance to see that his wife Aditi is morose, despondent. So he's inquiring why. What's the problem? Now we found that we're going to get to what the problem is. And his first remedy, she rejects. But so he gives her a second remedy. Okay? So I'll read verse 12. Now this is Aditi speaking to Kasyapa, the son of Brahma. O beloved husband, the fires, guests, servants, and beggars are all being properly cared for by me. Because I always think of you, there's no possibility that any of the religious principles will be neglected. O my Lord, Since you are Prajapati and are personally my instructor in the principles of religion, where is the possibility that all my desires will not be fulfilled? And today's verse, Tavaiva Maricha Mana Sariraja Praja Ima Sattva Rajas Tamo Jusha Samo Bhavams Tasu Asuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Manas Sariraja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusa Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Marichi Manasare Raja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusha Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Munasari Raja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusha Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Manasari Raja Prajadimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusa Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Manasari Raja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamos Jusa Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Manasari Raja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusa Samo Bhavam Tasvasuradisu Prabho Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Mataji Tavaiva Maricha Manasari Raja Prajaimam Sattva Rajastamo Jusa Samo Bhavam Tasya Sura Tatapi Bhaktam Bhajate Maheshwara Tavaiva Maricha Manasari Raja Prajaimam sattva rajastamo jusa. Samobhavam stasya suradisu bharbo. Tatapi bhaktam bhajate maheshwara tava your eva. Indeed, Maricha, son of Marichi, Manasadiraja, born either of your body or of your mind. All the demons and demigods. Praja, born of you. Ima, all of them. Sattva Raja Tamajursa, infected with Sattva gun, Rajagun, or Tamagun. Sama, equal. Bhavan, your good self. Tasu, to every one of them. Asura Adisu, beginning with the Asuras. Prabhu, O my Lord, Tatapi, still, Bhaktam, unto the devotees. Bhajate, takes care of. Mahaishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller. So this is Aditi still speaking. O son of Marichi, because you are a great personality, you are equal towards all the demons and demigods who are born either of your body or from your mind, and who possess one or another of the three qualities. Oh, I'm reading? Yeah, Sattvagun, Rajagun, or Tamagun. But although the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, is equal towards all living entities, he is especially favorable to the devotees. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 9:29, the Lord says, Samaham savabhuteshu name dvesho stina priya ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maitateshu chapyaham. Although the Supreme Personality of God is equal to everyone, he's especially inclined towards those who are engaged in his devotional service. The Lord says, Kaunteya pridijanihi name bhakta pranashati, in Bhagavad Gita 9:31. O my dear son of Kunti, please declare that my devotee will never be vanquished. Elsewhere, Krishna says, Ye yatamam prapadyante tatam tadhaiva bhajami aham mama vardmanu vartante manusha partha sarvasa. 4:11. Actually, everyone is trying to please the Supreme Personality of God in various ways, but according to their methods of approach, the Supreme Lord endows them with different benedictions. Thus, Aditi appealed to her husband by saying that since even the Supreme Controller favors devotees, and since Indra, Kasyapa's devoted son, was in difficulty, Kasyapa should bestow his favor upon Indra. Om Ganatimirandasya Gyanagana Salakaya Chakshu Shunmilitan Gena Tasareshi Gurave Namaha. The Bhagavatam is full of success stories and cautionary tales. I remember when they used to teach not to minimize the ultimate prestigious position of the Bhagavatam, but you often teach like that. You give a positive example, someone who follows the right path and gets successful, and someone who is foolish, neglects the proper guidance, and how they crash land, how it errs. So you see both sides of the coin, the success story and the failure. So Bhagavatam is full of examples like this. And we're going to see what path Aditi takes and how it all works out. That's where this chapter is going. She actually gets, what is the old saying? Be careful what you ask for, you may actually get it. So she gets what she wants, but because Krishna's involved, everything works out ultimately. But there's some tense moments along the way. Anyway, we'll explain. So I wanted to cover some miscellaneous points first, because we read a couple of verses. This is talking, Aditi and Kasyapa are talking about the proper execution of householder duties. And Balaram gave the nice example that, we used to do this. We would go outside and blow a conch and say, any hungry men, come on and get a meal. And being in Detroit, we used to get a few every time. They would stream in. And so household life tends to become attached. It's based on the principle of attachment. So it tends to breed that. People be, oh, my house. What do they say? A man's home is his castle. And the wife is the queen. And so they decorate and over-collect, and then you got to sprinkle a few kids in there, and the kids have to go to a good school so you can brag about them. My father said, and he was a good man, I'm not criticizing, but I guess on one hand I am. It all worked out well in the end. But, you know, he said this. He said, just when you're starting to pay off, you know, I'd gotten into a good school and, you know, I hadn't, you know, fried my brain on drugs, and, you know, and now, you know, he was going to be able to brag. My son, yeah. And then I joined the Hare Krishna movement. And in those days, it was a big deal. You know, it was like, my mother used to tell people that I was at the temple. And they remember thinking, well, I didn't know you were Jewish. So they said, well, at least, you know, they can, you know. Anyway, it went on for quite some time until they couldn't cover it anymore. So they tend to become attached. That's my point. Household life tends to become attached and focused in their own little silo. You know, my family, my, you know, my, I, me, mine. It's a risk in household life. They want to get a bigger house, so they move farther from the temple. And there's a direct ratio of distance from the temple to amount of attendance. Soon as you cross on the other side of I-5, maybe we'll see you on Sundays. And not every Sunday. So it's a risk to become attached and over-collect. So what is the Vedic curative, the countervailing force to fight attachment? Anyone know? Based on these verses we've just been reading? Anyone other than Dravida and Balaram want to hazard or guess? Okay, well, you've jumped to the ultimate conclusion. But as long as we're under the modes of material nature, Raja, and Vedic tradition, you give in charity. You're trained to give in charity, to take care of others, because it reduces the attachment. What was I going to say? If you look at it, and I remember Prabhupada saying this, you've got the brahmacharis, they're not producing, they're begging. They're going to the doors of the householders at the time of milking a cow if they're a sadhu, so they can give some association. But you still see this. You see this in Buddhist countries early in the morning, all the little streams of monks going out to collect. Of course, they go home and listen to the radio and smoke cigarettes. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them. But the idea of the brahmacharis don't produce materially. The varnaprasthas, they're renounced. The sannyasis, they're not manufacturing, producing. Grihastas are responsible for agriculture, cow protection, and trade. That's their bit. They're really the supply source that's supporting the three other ashrams that make society. So they're producing. To the credit, they have a tendency to become attached and miserly and live in their own little silo. But they're also, they're maintaining all the rest of society. So when they're properly situated and giving in charity to the Brahmins, to the Grihastas, to the Brahmacharis, to the sannyasis, then the society, the Vedic system is designed, as Krishna says himself, how to become happy. Prabhupada said in the Bhagavatam and elsewhere that a train runs on 2 tracks. Okay, there's monorails, just work with me, Prabhu. A train, generally speaking, runs on 2 tracks. Now, how does this apply to the Vedic? Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, and I think I've got it here. Do I have it here? Maybe I've got it later on. Anyway, we'll say it now. In the beginning of creation, this is from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent forth generations of men and demigods, along with sacrifices for Vishnu, and blessed them by saying, "Be thou happy by this yajna," or sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon you everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. So the Vedas, they give us the formula for how to live happily in this world. If you paint within the lines, color within the lines, if you follow the guidelines, and you give in sacrifice and charity as a grihasta, you'll be happy. Just, There's a joke, and I'll tell it. Geez, we're short of time. There was a Hindu, a Christian, and a Buddhist. And they were determining how they give to their church or temple. And the Buddhist said, or Christian said, I draw a circle, I throw my money up, whatever lands inside, I give to the church, whatever lands outside, I keep. The Jewish guy says, I have a similar method. I draw a circle, I throw the money up, but whatever lies inside I keep, whatever lands outside I give to my church. And the Hindu said, I have a little bit similar method. I throw my money up, whatever God wants, He keeps. Whatever falls back down, I pocket. So, you know, if you follow the rules and regulations, you give in charity appropriately, you get along. You're in the mode of goodness, and it works out. So the Vedas don't miss anything. But I'm going to speed up because we're running out of time. But as it's pointed out here, that you can get what you want from God and miss the boat. Now, Krishna has a name. He has so many names. Vishnu Sahasranam, so many names. One of his names is Vanamali. He likes to be decorated with forest flowers. But who knows what the name Hari means? Well, let's see if somebody else comes forward. Were you raising your hand, Guru Krishna?
Okay.
Yeah. What does Hari mean?
One who clears the path for the devotee.
Yeah, okay, we can accept that. I was looking for a little different nuance. One who takes away. And Prabhupada, if you have not read, and even if you have not read recently, Prabhupada's Vrindavan Bhajan, that poem, is so wonderful and just packed with realization. Prabhupada has taken sannyas. He's extracted himself from household life. He said he finally told his wife, tea or me. And she traded his set of Bhagavatams for tea biscuits. That means little cookies to take along with her tea. And when that happened, Prabhupada said, that's it. I've done my duty, but I'm out of here. I can't. That was a real slap in the face. So Prabhupada has just recently taken sannyas, and he's sitting in Vrindavan. And he's musing how Krishna has taken everything away. Krishna took his business away. Krishna took his family away. Krishna took so many things away. He said all of his relatives, you know, if you're, what do they say? Success has 100 fathers and failure is an orphan. If you're successful materially, oh, everybody knows you, everybody's related to you, everybody's got your number on speed dial so they can borrow money from you. But if you lose everything, they move without a change of address notice. They don't get, you know, they don't want to have anything to do with you. I'm not, well, I used to know him, you know, when he was, but now. So Prabhupada says that all that's left of this family life is a list of names only. It's all dried up. It's all gone away. So Hari, one who takes away, it's one of the Lord Shiva is Ashtatosh. He's very easily satisfied. So people who want material things, they don't pray to Krishna. He takes everything away. But ultimately, what does Krishna, after he takes away all your fame and all, no, I don't want, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't want money, I don't want followers, I don't want a beautiful wife. So after Krishna takes all that away, there's one other thing left in the box that Krishna takes away. Anybody know? Dravida Prabhu. He steals our heart. I hadn't thought of it that way. But he takes away all of our anxieties. When you have nothing left but Krishna, lo and behold, you find that Krishna comes through. But Krishna it says that the devotee is never vanquished. Now, I've known Jai Krishna Prabhu, who is the chairman of the North American Regional Governing Body. It's a group of GBCs and temple presidents and senior devotees that help run the North American, USA, and Canada temples. And he's the chair, and he's doing a good job. He's in charge. He's also the president of New Vrindavan. Before he became a devotee, his wife and daughter, I don't think he'll mind me mentioning this, and he won't hear it anyway. His wife and daughter were standing out in front of their house. He was in Switzerland, I don't know the city, and waiting to catch the bus to take the daughter to school. And some driver veered off the road, killed the wife and daughter. Now, he was a very successful businessman. He was well educated. He had a beautiful wife and family and a young daughter. Whole thing was taken away. Now, we're not wishing and advocating for, your house burned down and your wife die and your cows all be barren. We're not saying that. But when Krishna takes that which is dear to us away and we have to take shelter of him, we learn that actually all these temporary things often were mixed bags. Happiness and distress, this and that, So if I guess I'll cut to the chase. What is Krishna's real benediction? What is real success? Krishna says that my devotees never vanquished. We see that Jai Krishna's family was vanquished because they weren't devotees yet. But we find heavy things happen to devotees. Devotees get cancer. Kalakanta Prabhu was really hitting on it. He had a job, nice job, bought a new house, had a brand new car, so many things. Now, Florida, at least in the Alachua area, it's all limestone aquifers underneath the ground. And sometimes those caverns, aquifers, whatever, they're full of water, and then the water drains out, they collapse. And they create what's called a sinkhole. A sinkhole opened on his property. And within a few days, it devoured his whole house. It sunk, you can ask him, sunk right in the car too. Just zoop, the earth swallowed it. What's that all about, So Krishna we see, Krishna takes things away. And devotee appears to be vanquished. We've seen devotees die. There's actuary tables that insurance companies use that show when you should, what is your life expectancy and all that stuff. And you have devotees that die early, get bitten by some strange bug and get West Nile virus from a mosquito and keel over. So how does that square with Krishna saying devotees are never vanquished? It looks like they were vanquished to me. Anybody got an answer other than Dravida? Other than Balaram? How do you square that? Huh? On one hand, we're not this body, but again, in context of the class and the word Hari, Krishna protects our devotional advancement because that's a real asset. Everything else is not an asset. It's here today, gone tomorrow. It's flickering. It's temporary. Can't take it with you, my friends. Although Buddhists, some sections of Buddhists, anyway, I remember in my Sankirtan days, I happened to stop by a Buddhist, what do you call it, undertaker. Where they sell coffins? And he had coffins shaped like Mercedes. This was in Malaysia. Or was it Malaysia? It might have been, anyway, whatever. No, I think, anyway, it doesn't matter. Oh, it's in Taiwan. That's where it was. It was in Taiwan. And so he had coffin shaped like Mercedes. He had a coffin shaped like a brand new fridge, a freezer. I mean, all kinds of. I said, what's with this? And so, according to that section of Buddhists, if you had a coffin like a Mercedes, you could take it with you. There was a coffin that had been painted that looked like a stack of $100 bills. So, when they throw you in the fire, you can take the Mercedes or a brand new fridge. Or the Egyptians in those big tombs, they got all kinds of stuff in there. Stuffed in their grains, their favorite dog, their servants, so they can have them in their next life. But it doesn't work that way. So my point being is only thing you can take with you, really, is the only benefit is your devotional assets. And Krishna protects our progress in spiritual life. Something heavy may happen to us. I mean, anyone know Prabhupada's classic example of a medical procedure? I'm not talking about the salve of love of God. Oh, I'm going to make it so easy. If you have an infection, a type of infection, to deal with it, there's something you have to do that's painful. Anyone want to guess? You can guess. If you're wrong, what's the harm? Brahm. You lance a boil. You have to, or if you have an infection, you have to get what's causing the infection out. Otherwise, it will not heal. Actually, it can go septic or whatever it's called, pollute the blood system and kill you. I knew a girl when I was in second grade. She scratched, her first name was Deborah. It's almost in my head. Debbie. She scratched her leg on the swing set at the school. It got infected. Somehow or other, her parents didn't notice it. She got, was it tetanitis? What's it called? Tetanus, and he got blood infection. She died. One day, no more Debbie. So, what do we have in this world? So here we say, Aditi gets what she wants, but ultimately, Bali Maharaj loses it's a whole trip. So the actual thing I wanted to get to, believe it or not, and we'll wrap up here, is we're going to read about this Payovrata. Some devotees think, well, maybe I'll follow this vow and worship Lord Shiva, or, I want to have kids, I think there's a place where Brahma's worshipped in Rajasthan. People go there to have a child. Huh? Yeah, Pushkar. So there's so many. So it's complicated. When you read this thing, it's only 12 days. He gives her a shortcut. You follow, but there's a lot of stuff packed in there. She has to live only on milk. She has to offer so many prayers. There's so many details. If you blow one of them, you go back to square one. You have to start over again. It's a complicated process. Now, and it gives you a material result, which isn't going to solve your problem. Now, of all the different yajnas, what is the recommended yajna for this age, other than Balaram and Dravida and 50% of you in this class? Guru Krishna. I mean, this is a softball underhand pitch. What is the recommended and the easiest yajna, which gives the greatest blessing? What's that? The what? Suresh. What? Namo Mahabharanaya. Krishna Prema Pradayate. Oh, come on, help me out.
Sankirtan Jagga.
Sankirtan Jagga. It is simple. It is sublime. You only have to know 3 words. You can come in, tell them they can come in and have darshan, and then get them a little prasad. So the point is that it is the fastest. Prabhupada said, you chant Hare Krishna, you follow the 4 regular principles, which means basically you're a human being. Just be a human. Don't be a caged animal like my neighbors last night. So it's simple. You chant the holy name, you follow the 4 regular principles, which means you're going to be healthy and happy, and you serve the Vaishnavas and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Doesn't matter what you do, you sweep the floor, you go out on book distribution, you worship the deities, so the devotees are enlivened. Do whatever you like in Krishna's service. And at the end of this life, Prabhupada said, you will go back home, back to Godhead. With the simplest, fastest, and you get the greatest benediction. Jayadvaita Maharaj asked Prabhupada, after Prabhupada said that, in the darshan that afternoon in Brooklyn Temple on Henry Street, he said, Prabhupada, chant 16 rounds, follow the regular principles, serve the Vaishnavas and the Sankirtan mission, and you will go back to Godhead in this life? Prabhupada said, in this life? He said, in this life? Before he could even say more, Prabhupada slammed his hand on his desk and said, in this life, why not? So we're reading about all this jagga and all the complication and all the different things, duties you have to do as a grihasta. But if you just surrender to Krishna, you go back to Godhead in this life. It's the fastest, the easiest, and that gives you the highest result. So we can end there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. And you got a joke out of it, how to give donations to the temple. Hey, Govinda.